Hello everyone and welcome back. I'm Stephen Samard and today we're going to be talking about how to renew your belief after life has knocked you down. In our last episode we left off with talking about your series of wins, and I hope that you've taken the initiative to go through that process and actually build that list out. Now, for those of you who are just joining us for the first time, let me please encourage you to go back and take a look at our previous episodes, because that's going to tell you a little bit about who I am and where we are, so we can all catch up together and grow together. But after you've developed your series of wins, you should be in a place to move forward with your goals and with your ambitions in life. Most of you should be in pretty good shape from that point. However, from all of the viewers that I've heard from, there have been many concerns about the life events that they have suffered and that they're currently going through, that you're currently going through. And I just want to make sure that we address that and we break this down to a level that you can understand and you can also personally grow, because it's important that you understand that you can do so, and you can do so starting today. You don't have to wait, okay? I've heard many things of drug addiction and loss of family members and divorce and financial loss, job loss. I've heard a number of different life events that people are concerned about out there. And I want to make sure that we address this issue and you don't feel like we've just skipped over this. So we're going to dig in a little bit deep today. You see, in the last episode I shared with you that at the age of 15, it was 2.5 weeks before my 16th birthday, and I just bought my first car, and I was excited. You know, my family had finally come out of what I consider to be our poverty status, more so into a middle class status. And when I bought my car, that really gave me the level of freedom, a level of freedom that I had never experienced before. And you know, I could get to school more efficiently. I didn't have to ride the embarrassing school bus anymore, and I traveled back and forth to my Tae Kwon Do class. I was able to go back and forth to work and not have to ride my bike in the evenings. And it just opened up a whole new world for me, and life was going great. You know, within a couple of years, I actually was able to find a different job, so I had better pay. I had better hours, so I didn't have to work so late at night. So when I did go to school, I was more refreshed. I was becoming more popular at school amongst my friends and my classmates. I was pursuing my dream and my passion of becoming a martial artist diligently. I had the car of my dreams. I was able to travel and go see my father and my two older brothers who lived about 3.5 hours away from us at the time. So I was able to go and see them and spend more quality time with them, and everything in life was just going great. It was a wonderful time of life and wonderful experiences. And then all of a sudden, one day out of the blue, I got a call, and it was from my older brother. And it was the brother that I looked up to. He was my immediate older brother of the 5 children. He was immediately older than me. And he was my first hero. He was the one that I looked up to, the one that I idolized. And as a matter of fact, he's the one that gave me the hand-me-down clothes. So whenever I would receive his clothes and I'd wear his clothes, it'd make me feel important. It would make me feel big. And I always looked up to him. And he was on the phone, and he was crying. It was the first time I'd ever heard him cry. And he was mumbling on the phone. I couldn't understand him. And I was trying so hard, so desperate to listen, and it sounded like he was telling me that I needed to get to Jacksonville as soon as possible because they weren't sure he was going to make it. And immediately I went into panic. I went into concern. I was like, who are you talking about? What are you talking about? What's going on? And it took him a few minutes to compose himself on the phone. And when he finally did, he informed me that his 9-month-old son, baby Trey, was in the hospital. And the doctors had diagnosed him with a very rare disease, and they were not sure that baby Trey was going to make it. So of course, when I heard this news, I stopped everything. I loaded up my car, I got my clothes and the belongings that I needed, and I rushed down to Jacksonville just as quick as I could get there. And I rushed into the hospital. I found my brother, And when I found him, he fell into my arms. And it was the first time that I had ever seen or experienced my brother in this state. It was completely foreign to me. But I held him, and I tried to comfort him and get him to talk to me to find out what was going on. And when he finally calmed down, he informed me that the doctor said that baby Trey had come down with a very rare disease called meningococcemia. And going back to this time, of course, this is about 30 years ago. At that time, there were less than 100 reported cases of this disease in the entire U.S. And they didn't know how to treat it. They didn't have enough information to combat it. They didn't know what to do. And he told me that the doctors came out and told him that baby Trey was dying. He told him that they knew he was dying and that there was nothing that they could do about it. And immediately I went into rejection. I was like, no, you don't understand. Our family is strong. We may be living apart, but our family is strong. We don't have a history of disease. We don't have a history of loss. You know, we always come together. We always stand strong. We always stand firm. We always land on high ground. We always land on our feet. This isn't going to happen. We're going to go home. Baby Trey's going to be okay. And we're going to go home. It's going to be all right. Well, this disease that baby Trey contracted, it takes the blood out of the bloodstream, and it makes it pool and surface under the skin. So the doctors and the nurses, when they tried to work on baby Trey, they couldn't touch him because every time that they did, his skin was tearing. It was very fragile, like tissue. And to compound the situation, since the blood was leaving his bloodstream, his brain wasn't getting the proper oxygen that it needed. So he was also suffocating from lack of oxygen. And within just a few short hours after my arriving at the hospital, the doctors came out and they announced that baby Trey had died. And I was lost. I had never experienced this before. I'd never experienced death this close to my family. I had seen it through our church and through our community, but I'd never seen it up close and this personal. And I'd never seen the devastation and the destruction and the emotion that it hit my brother with, my hero. And I was lost. I didn't know what to do. I lost my drive. I lost my determination. I lost my focus. I lost my belief. And after the funeral, I went home. I restarted into my daily routine. I was going back to school and doing all the normal things that I did. And after several weeks went by, I wasn't snapping out of it. I wasn't changing. I was hollow inside. I felt empty. You know, it was like we've tried so hard to come together. Even though our family is apart, we've tried so hard to make it and to grow, and to find out that we've got so little control in life. My young mind, it wasn't accepting it. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to snap out of it. Well, after several weeks, I was in my Tae Kwon Do class, and my instructor knew what had happened. He knew what was going on, and he saw that I wasn't coming around. He saw that I wasn't really changing. So he pulled me to the side of the class one day after it finished, and he asked me, he said, "Can I ask you a question?" And I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "When you're not in your Tae Kwon Do class, and you're at home and you're doing your daily routine through school, what's going on?" And I told him, I said, "Yeah, I'm lost. I've lost my drive. I've lost my determination. I don't believe in where I'm going anymore. It's bad. I can't explain it, but I haven't grasped it. I'm lost." And he said, "Okay." And then he asked me another question. He said, "When you're here in Tae Kwon Do class, pursuing your dream, how do you feel? And I said, well, it's completely different. You know, when I'm here, I'm focusing on learning my dream, on learning my goal and doing better. And you give the instructions and tell us what to do, and I'm engaged, I'm taking action, and I'm following through, and I'm giving everything that I have. And as soon as class is over, I'm right back in the same feeling. I'm lost again. And after I was done speaking, he smiled. And he said, exactly. He said, it's your focus and your actions that control your emotions and your feelings. And they fuel your belief. Now you talk about an incredible, incredible lesson to be learned from such an unexpected source. I'm going to my martial arts class to learn an art, to learn Tae Kwon Do. And I just learned a powerful life lesson to carry me forward for the rest of my life. And it has helped me so many times through the years that I cannot tell you. You see, what I learned that day was that whatever I focus on is what I tend to become. And if I'm focusing on the misery, on the sorrow, on the loss, on the hurt, and the anger, and the distraught, and all the negative emotions that are going on, I'm going to live in that misery. But if I'm focused and I'm thinking about where I want to go, how I want to get there, how I'm going to do it, who I need to involve in my life to get there, and all the happy emotions that come along with it, the rewarding emotions that come along with it, then I'm going to live in their celebration. And that's what I want to leave with you today. I want to encourage you, if you're having difficulties, you're having life circumstances and situations that are either beyond your control or your fault, that could be either way. Regardless, let me encourage you, change your thoughts, change your focus. Focus on the positive, focus on where you're going, what you want to get done, how you want to get it done, who you need to get around you that's going to be strong and encourage you to chase your dreams and accomplish it, and don't quit. And again, I'll say, whatever you focus on most of the time is what you're going to become. So get out, change your life. You can do it. You can do it immediately, starting today. I'm going to leave that with you. Until next time.